Hey there, and welcome. So we've all been there, right? Staring at a blank page, a really tough problem, or a brand new project, just waiting for that amazing idea to show up. But what if finding great ideas wasn't about luck, but about learning a simple, structured skill? All right, let's jump in and turn that frustration into a process you can use every single time. You know that feeling? The pressure's on to come up with something new, something smart, but your mind just feels, well, empty. You might get one or two ideas, but they're kind of obvious, nothing special. That creative block is the first huge hurdle we all face. So our whole goal here is to give you a framework that helps you smash past those first, easy ideas. We're going to look at how to generate a ton of ideas, and I mean a wide variety and a huge quantity that are actually high quality. The idea is to give you a toolkit that helps you find those truly innovative solutions that aren't so obvious. Now, what's the secret to unlocking all this? It's actually pretty simple. You have to separate the act of coming up with ideas from the act of judging them. Your brain has two totally different modes for this, and the real magic happens when you use them one at a time.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got divergent thinking. Think of this as your inner explorer. It's all about going wide, dreaming up as many possibilities as you can, and this is key, with zero judgment. Quantity is way more important than quality here. Then on the right, you have convergent thinking. That's your inner analyst, your decision maker. This is where you start judging, going deep, and picking the best option. The biggest mistake we all make is trying to do both at the same time. It's like you're hitting the gas and the brake at once. Your inner critic just shuts everything down before you even get started.
Let's really dig into that first mode, divergent thinking. This is the yes and part of the process. The only rule here is that there are no bad ideas. Seriously, you're just building a giant sandbox of possibilities. You want the wild ideas, the simple ones, the weird ones, throw them all in the pile. This is where you let your creativity run completely free.
Okay, so only after you've totally exhausted your creative exploration do you switch gears to convergent thinking. Now it's time to bring out that logical, critical part of your brain. This is the time for analysis, for asking the tough questions, for tweaking concepts, and, at the end of the day, making a choice. You're sifting through that giant sandbox to find the actual diamonds.
So this all sounds good in theory, but how do we actually do it? Let's get practical and open up our divergent toolkit. We'll look at some specific techniques to seriously boost your idea generation. Forget about that classic brainstorming session where the loudest person in the room always wins. Brainwriting is this quiet, super democratic, and honestly incredibly effective alternative. It makes sure everybody gets to contribute and ideas can build on each other without anyone interrupting. And what's so cool about this is how simple it is. Here's how you do it. Everyone gets a piece of paper and, without talking, writes down 3 ideas. After a couple of minutes, you pass your paper to the person next to you. Now you read what they wrote, and using that as inspiration, you add 3 new ideas. You do this a few times, and believe it or not, in less than 15 minutes, you have this massive pool of connected ideas. It's awesome. Okay, but what if you've got a few ideas already and you want to push them even further? Well, that's where Scamper comes in. It's basically a creative checklist, like a set of 7 prompts that forces you to look at your idea from all these different unexpected angles. Each letter in Scamper asks you a different kind of question. You ask, what can I substitute here? What if I combine this with something else? How could I adapt an idea from a completely different field? Can I modify it? Put it to another use? What part can I eliminate to make it simpler? Or what if I did the exact reverse? Just going through this list one by one is a fantastic way to spark all sorts of new versions of your idea. Okay, you've done the hard work. You've got pages and pages of ideas. It is officially time to switch hats. Let's get into our convergent toolkit and figure out how we bring some order to this beautiful chaos and pick the best ideas to move forward with. So, the first step in converging isn't actually to judge, it's to organize. An affinity diagram, or you might hear it called affinity mapping, is a really simple way to find the hidden themes and patterns inside that mountain of ideas you just created. It's all about getting clear before you have to make any big decisions. The process itself is super simple. You take all your ideas, put each one on its own sticky note. Then, as a group and without talking, you just start moving the notes around on a wall, putting similar ideas next to each other. You'll start to see these natural clusters forming. Once things settle down, you work together to give each of those clusters a name, and just like that, your messy brainstorm now has a clear structure. Okay, so now you've got these nice, neat groups of ideas. You've gone from maybe 100 random thoughts to 5 or 6 clear themes. But that still leaves a pretty big question. Which themes or which ideas in those themes are actually worth pursuing? How do you prioritize? This is where the prioritization matrix becomes your absolute best friend. It's just a simple grid you use to map out your ideas based on two critical things. How much impact will it have and how much effort will it take? So up in that top left corner, you have your high impact, low effort ideas. Those are your quick wins. You should do those right now. In the top right are your high impact, high effort ideas. Those are your major projects. They're worth it, but they need a real plan. And then everything on the bottom is lower impact, so you either do them as fill-ins when you have time, or you just avoid them completely as thankless tasks. This simple little chart tells you exactly where to put your energy. So, what a journey. We've gone from a totally blank page through this storm of creative ideas and landed in the calm, focused clarity of making a decision. Let's wrap this up with the big takeaway from all of this. If you walk away with just one thing today, please let it be this. Coming up with great ideas is not some mysterious gift that only a few people have. It is a structured, repeatable, learnable process. With the right tools and the right mindset, anyone, and I mean anyone, can do this. And this quote just nails it. The real skill isn't just having an idea, it's being able to take a challenge and methodically turn it into a whole landscape of potential solutions. That's what this whole process helps you do. So let's land on the single most important rule that makes this whole thing work. Always separate these two ways of thinking. Give yourself the freedom to explore without any limits first. Go wild. Generate all the possibilities. Then, and only then, do you put on your critic hat and start making choices. Diverge first, then converge. So, with this new toolkit, you're ready to tackle problems in a totally new way. The only question left is, what problem, big or small, at work or at home, are you going to solve first?